now I'm going to begin to add color to my picture. Now, if you switch the mode of the picture, image mode, if you would switch this to grayscale, it'd be a good time to change it back to color, because we are going to be using color from here on out. Right now my background's white, but it also looks really good black. So I'm just going to switch to black with my paint bucket, go back to layer 1, and see how that looks. And I think I do like that better, so I'll keep that. But I can always change my mind. Okay, so I'm going to go to the top layer, and I'm actually going to make a new layer on which to draw and add my details. Before that though, I almost think that she would look good with sort of a bright shadow behind her. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the layer that just has Frida, and she's cut out. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I could take my quick selection brush and I could use that to select all of her. Okay, if I wanted to select her, and I would get Alt, so I could go in and select all of her. Control Z, I'm going to say select, deselect. So you could use this to select all of her, but there's an easier way, and that's if I click in this little black and white and hold down Control, you'll automatically get the crawling ants. So I clicked in the black and white picture over on the layer and held down Control, and I got the crawling ants. And then I'm going to go to the top layer, and I'm going to pick a color, and I want something really bright, so I think I'm going to go with the bright green. And I'm going to take my paint bucket and fill it in. Now there's nothing on this layer except the shape of Frida Kahlo. Okay, gotta make it visible. So I'm going to fill that in. Okay, and what I think I'm going to do now is I'm going to drag it underneath her, and I'm going to say select, deselect to get rid of the crawling ants. So under Frida Kahlo, I've got this layer that I can then use the move tool. I'm going to view, zoom out a little bit, and I can make that a little bit bigger. Okay, oops, wrong layer. I'm going to click to this one. I don't want to move Frida Kahlo. I want to move the shadow. Okay, if I want to do something like that. Okay, let's bring back the black. Okay. And I think maybe I want this shadow to come down a little bit. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it. Maybe I'll make it a little wider. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave it like that. Okay, now I'm going to go back here and I'm going to add a new layer for drawing on top. You're going to want to concentrate on bright colors. Okay, now you can definitely use the styluses. And I've got them in the classroom for you, so I'm going to zoom in. But the tool you're going to want to use is the paintbrush. And if you right click on the paintbrush, you'll see the options. You've got the brush tool, you've got impressionist brush, which has different designs. You've got the pencil tool as well. Every time you're clicked on a tool, the options will come up. So right now, if I was to draw, and I want to draw on my top layer, if I was to draw, I'm going to have a really, really thin line. If I change that, I could make that thicker. Do you see that? So I'm going to say Control Z, Control Z. Another thing I can do is when I draw a line, if I wanted it to be straight, I can hold down Shift. So if I do a point and then another point, I could go ahead and make a straight line. So I think it's sort of like the idea of that, but I think I would want it to go off the paper. I'm holding down Shift and it will connect my 2 points, okay? And I'm going to say view, zoom in. And you can also take your stylus and you can draw along different sections, okay? So you can actually color in different sections and add different parts as well. So whatever works for you, the mouse or the stylus. And the nice thing is, if you do something you don't like, you can always say Control Z, okay? And you can go backwards. So right now I'm just sort of playing around with this and seeing what I like. I'm not loving the green eye, so I'm gonna go back in. I think I'll do the green eye, but I just need to spend a little bit more time on it and figure out what I want. Also, you can also make an extra layer to sort of play around on. Now when I click the paintbrush and I go up here, you can see there's all of these different paintbrushes, okay? So you can find different layers that are different options, okay? And you can change the size, you know, and add different things if you want. Okay, I like the idea of the stars, but I almost like the idea, not that big. I almost like the idea, somewhere in between there, of having a couple on the background. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do for mine is I'm gonna add some more of those pink lines, and then I'm gonna go into her face and add some different things as well, sort of reminiscent of the stitches that Victoria Villasana uses. Now, as I work too, let's say I wanted that pink again, what I would need to do is I would need to grab the eyedropper tool. So right now on my paint bucket, I have the green, or on my color picker, I have the green. You can select any color here on your picture. So there's the pink, I can select the yellow, and it will bring that back up again. Okay, so what you get to do now is play around with the paint and pen tools and get creative. Keep in mind, you can always say Control Z to go backwards, but once you have something you're happy with, go ahead and say File, Save.